Hello, Elizabeth here, and today I'm going to show you how to make some basic greeting cards using the Cricut Foil Transfer Kit. The Foil Transfer Kit is pretty popular for things like wedding invitations or bridal showers. It's great for when you want to make something look a little bit more expensive and classy. The kit comes with the foil transfer tool housing, as well as 3 different attachments in a fine, medium, and bold line. The kit comes with both gold and silver transfer sheets, but you can also buy a whole bunch of other colors from Cricut. What the attachment does is it presses down a sheet of foil into the cardstock in whatever design you want, so the design you choose becomes a little bit textured and embedded into the cardstock. I love the look of the foil transfer. I think even on just basic white cardstock, it makes such a beautiful card. I even used the foil transfer on the envelopes, which also turned out really beautiful. Foil transfer with the Cricut is notoriously difficult to figure out. I did struggle my way through it at first, but now that I've got the hang of it and I know what I'm doing, it's really not that hard and I love using it. Let's do it! For my cards, I'm using blank cardstock wedding programs, which I'm cutting in half and then folding to make a smaller card. It's 8.5 by 5.5 inches. I find it's best to use a pretty basic design that has bold lines and not too many small details. I made my designs in Canva, which is a free online program. I used this font called TT Script, which is a pretty cursive, but it's still fairly simple with nice bold lines. Then I searched floral border in the Cricut Elements library, and I found this simple floral banner. Again, it's not too intricate of a design and it has strong lines. I placed them on a design canvas that is the same size as my card so I could visualize how it will look. Once I was happy with the design, I saved it as a PNG and uploaded it to Cricut Design Space. Then you need to clean up your image by clicking all of the blank space to remove it, and place it on the canvas. I looked at the ruler in my Canva design to see that 4.2 inches wide was a good size for my design and resized it in the top toolbar. Next, you want to change the operation from basic cut to foil in whichever thickness you're using. I'm doing bold. The color doesn't really matter, but you can change it to whatever you're using just to visualize it. I'll be using silver. I have my cardstock aligned with specific lines on my mat, which makes it a lot easier to place your design in Cricut Design Space. I'm using my standard grip mat. Once you have your cardstock in place, you can take your foil sheet shiny side up and place it so that it's covering the area where your design will be placed. You want it to be as smooth and flat as possible. Then you can use the special tape that comes with the foil transfer kit to tape it down. It's important to do this really securely. If you don't, the foil transfer tip will rip it up off the mat and your design will not transfer properly. This tape can be applied directly to the cardstock if you're really careful about peeling it off after. To be safe, I prefer to tape it mostly to the mat if possible and only put it on the paper when absolutely necessary, because you can definitely rip up the paper if you're not super careful. Once your cardstock, foil transfer sheet, and digital design are ready to go, you can hit Make It in Cricut Design Space, which will take you to the mat preview. Use the guides on your mat to line up your design with the cardstock. Mine needs to be upside down so it will face the right way when I fold the card over. Once it's aligned, you can choose your base material. Mine is light cardstock. And it will prompt you to load the foil transfer tool into your machine. This is what the foil transfer tool looks like. The tips have 1, 2, and 3 lines on them for fine, medium, and bold lines. To load the tip into the housing, you just push down and hold in this button at the top and slide the blue end of the tip into the base of the housing. Release the button and it should hold the tip in place. Then you just unclip clamp B on your machine. Mine currently has the fine point blade loaded. Insert your transfer tool and clip it back in place. Mine is actually up a bit too high in this footage. I adjusted it later. Make sure it's all the way down into the clamp. Then you can load your mat into the machine and start the transfer. Once it's done, you can unload your mat and it will look something like this. Then you can very carefully peel off your tape, making sure you don't rip the cardstock. I actually save the tape and reuse it a couple of times, which is especially helpful if you're doing multiple foil transfers in one sitting. Once you've removed your tape, you can peel back your foil sheet to reveal the beautiful design you've made. To avoid bending your cardstock, it helps to flip your mat over and peel the mat away from the cardstock instead of peeling the cardstock away from the mat. I have these thank you cards that didn't print properly for my wedding and I had them replaced, so I usually glue my cardstock to these to make them stronger. They also came with a set of envelopes that fit them perfectly, so I did a foil transfer in gold on the envelopes as well. I love how they came out. The card and the envelope are so shiny and they look super classy. I was really pleased with them. I also just want to quickly show you a slightly more intricate design and what can happen if there is too much detail in the design you choose. I followed that exact same process to make this birthday card and chose a floral banner that is a bit more complex than the one from the other card. I did this one with gold foil and it still turned out really beautiful. I loved it and I still gave it to my friend for her birthday. But if you look closely, you can see there is a small area that didn't quite transfer properly. It's imprinted in the card, but there is no gold foil there. All of the lines in general just aren't quite as clean as they are on the other card. When the design is more detailed, it can really crinkle up the foil transfer sheet and you can see it actually has a tear in that one spot. So just be careful not to choose anything extremely detailed because this is still a relatively simple design and I had a bit of trouble with it. Again, it still came out nicely, it's just not as flawless as the other card. One last cool thing about the foil transfer sheets is you can actually take the housing and draw with it by hand. I had this excess space on the edges of the sheet, so I just drew a cute little heart in the corner of this envelope by hand, and it transfers the foil the same way. It just adds an extra little personal touch. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment letting me know what you would like to see next. See you later!